We originally started the shit I never knew videos, and we were gonna really stick to wheels, tires, suspension, that kind of stuff. What we're realizing is more and more people are asking, you know, you guys also do a bunch of other stuff over at Offset's Garage, which is our local shop. So can you share more about that? And I think they saw the Lamborghini that we did last winter, about a year ago, and we had the wrap on there. So we had a lot of questions around that. And now we just got done wrapping our GSX-R, and Charlie, our customer service guy, he just got his car wrapped. And we've been getting a lot of wrap questions, and we're seeing a lot of wrap questions out there. And we figured since we're pretty much wrapping everything these days, we should share at least what we knew. So this is just our opinions. This is even more so my opinion. I'm talking about with Banker, Fuller, some of the other guys. Here's where we're at. We call it paint is dead because back in the day, you would have taken this bike, you would have stripped it down of all of its parts, decided what you want to get painted, have to deal with what's going on with the fuel tank, probably empty it out, whatnot, bring it all over to a paint shop, have everything scuffed down or done some sort of promoter to get it to stick to the plastic, have all of this painted, and then reassemble it to basically change the color of a bike. Now what can happen is you can spend, you know, it should be right around $1,000, $1,500, depending on what you pick. They don't take a lot of this apart. A lot of this was done on the bike because it's actually easier to wrap and bend. And you get the same look, but now all of this could be undone and the factory parts are still underneath there. So this is completely wrapped. We had to plasti dip this. This is a really rough, weird piece of plastic that doesn't want anything to stick to it. It would have been a pain to paint as well. So that one you basically have to dip into the old plasti to do little sections, but it still blends in well. The whole bike is now white. Underneath here is a black and charcoal GSX-R 600. Lamborghini, same thing. This is a silver 2004 Lamborghini Gallardo. Back in the day, they had this big, crazy red, bright red taillight. It's now got a smoked tint over it and then went back over it with a matte clear vinyl, which basically took any gloss away and just made it flat matte like the rest of the car. And then we even took at the top of the tail light and covered up part of that tail light so that it creates a new tail light half the size, which is more of the new styling of the newer Gallardos. So that's another example. Doing this with paint would have been really complex, really time consuming, and it would have cost a lot of money. So the first thing that we really want to talk about is cost. So you're right around $1,000, $1,500 for a bike, probably around $4,000 for the Lamborghini. I don't even want to know what a paint job change would be on this. I believe it's 10 to 15, 20,000 if you get carried away, but at least 10 to 15,000. Same thing with the Mini Cooper. A fluorescent, iridescent, whatever you want to call it, pearl fluorescent paint like this would have cost a fortune to do on this entire car. Now this one, I'll show you some of the details. It still does run right around $5,000, $6,000 because of the amount of detail and the different techniques that they use, and I'll get into those. But still, I believe it would have cost more to paint it, and then that's the color it is. So if you decide to get out of this vehicle, it's yours to keep that color or try to sell it that color. One of the biggest things I ran into when I decided I was going to do the Gallardo is trying to figure out, you know, how long does this stuff last? I don't want to put a wrap on it and have it fade out and be a different color or turn bright pink over time with the sun or something like that. And I've got a matte black roof on it. I didn't want that to bake in the sun and turn to like a weird faded gray. So that's one of the things I asked is the longevity of it. If you keep this outside and it's a daily, I believe it's 3 to 5 years, depending on the vinyl company. They'll have their warranties, so you can check into that. But it's right around the 3 to 5 year time frame before it starts to get dry. But you do have to take care of it. You do have to maintain it. And taking care of it is basically using the approved detailers that you can use on the matte or the gloss. Matte, gloss finishes. So they have a specific detailer you're supposed to use that really works well and doesn't dry out the vinyl. The other one I hear all the time is, can you do it yourself? And I'm like everybody else, I'll try everything on my own and see how I do. I did an absolutely terrible job. I would not recommend ever doing anything beyond the 24-inch custom offsets windshield decal yourself. because we tried it. We were just trying to do the large camouflage looking print on a Subaru. It was a disaster. One of the things is you have to use vinyl wrap material. You can't just grab some vinyl and start cutting it and throwing it on there. It's not the same material. This is much stretchier. Heat and steam are a big deal when you're trying to wrap around curves and trying to get it to form like this. Another big thing is trying to get the vinyl to stick underneath so that it grabs, because you can't just cut along these lines. Everything's tucked in and underneath, or taken apart, tucked in underneath, and then reassembled. So it is complex, and if you ever want to practice, I would grab a small piece, give it a shot, and then you will most likely throw that away, the small sample that you bought on eBay, and you will go to a professional, have them do it. That's the point that we're at. We have someone that we have come in that's been doing our wraps. We worked with Auto Trim out of Nita on this one, and what was the name of the company here? Is it right on it? So stickerdude.com down in Milwaukee did this one, did an absolutely stellar job. Chicago. He kept going past Milwaukee to Chicago, and that's where stickerdude.com is. And he did this one, turned out absolutely killer. And you know, it's all about the professionals. These guys that have the experience and have the training do such a better job than the DIY. I just don't think that, you know, this is something that should be a DIY, because you're going to see lots of bubbles. You're going to see lots of tearing, stretching, weird wrinkling where you've overheated or overstretched it. So if you want to do it yourself, go ahead. Maybe you're really good at it, and maybe it'll be your next new dream job is putting vinyl on. But we found that it's not one of those things that we should jump into. You're either good at it or not. The other one Fuller wanted me to talk about was easier to change. So when I did the Gallardo like this, I thought, hey, this is cool. I'll just change the color of it every summer. Well, then I realized it was about $4,000 to do. So I said, well, maybe every few summers. And then I decided one day I was going to take it off and maybe sell the car. So I started looking at what the price would be to sell it. It was, I believe, about $1,000 just to have it removed. And the reason is, this car was completely disassembled, so these louvers were all pulled off of here. The entire engine cover was pulled off here. The spoiler was pulled off. All the emblems were removed. The tail lights, all of the blinkers, headlights, everything was pulled off the car to wrap it. And that's so that you get all of the wrap tucked in and around underneath the corners and really get a perfect finish on the car. Well, all of that's going to come back apart if you want to take it apart. And things like the mirrors coming off means you have to pull the inner door panels off. And on an 04, you know, it's 13-year-old plastics. You start having plastic clips break, and you've got to replace some plastic and some pieces. It's going to be all of $1,000 to remove that. So it is easier than paint to change, but don't think that you're just going to peel it off like a sticker and you're good to go. It's also going to leave behind a residue that you have to remove from the paint. And sometimes what will happen on a really old vehicle that's starting to have the clear coat is starting to loosen up, or whatever you want to call it. That glue on the vinyl will be stronger than the adhesion to the paint, and it will actually take the clear coat with it. So that was one of the things they warned me about, even with an 04, with wrapping it, is they have seen when you leave it on there for a long time, when you go to peel it, it takes the clear coat with it. Now you're against re-clearing the car. So it's definitely easier to change than paint, but it's not rip off the sticker and go. Now this one, I believe he did have it removed, right? Because he had this one wrapped some other crazy color, and they did remove it when they put this new one on. What's nice about that is you're taking it apart to wrap it again anyways, so he was able to just have it pulled off, and of course, you know, get rid of all the glue and everything, and then re-wrap it. And if you're changing it, then you're saving money because you've got it apart anyway. So one of the things that we want to touch on is it's all about the details. If you look at the Mini Cooper, he went in and vinyled inside of the S on the logos. He went in and wrapped around the headlights on the bezels to basically make sure that there's not chrome sticking out of the front of that thing, or whatever color that is. And like I said on the Gallardo, we went in and changed the look of the tail lights. We used it on the front to change the look of the headlights. It really gets down to, you know, thinking through how you want to wrap it, and then starting to use it to kind of transform the vehicle too. And those details start to cost money. We also smoked out all of the front turn signals, and like I said, cut down on the headlights and kind of hid the front turn signal a little bit. Don't tell anybody about that. I believe that's not legal. So one of the things with vinyl is you're allowed to not do the door jambs, as we said. So when you do it, you can basically just cut a clean line and then have your door jambs. It's really nice when it matches your interior because then it even looks intentional. But when you go to paint, nobody's gonna accept this. This is not okay. But the world has decided when it comes to vinyl, it is okay, because if you go in and try to vinyl all of this, you basically end up with a nightmare of splices, slices, and weird bends and angles, and then you start having wear problems. So it doesn't, we haven't seen that it pays off or it's worth it to vinyl those door jambs. And with this covering, it seems to be okay, versus if you were to paint this, your friends wouldn't even let you to the Walmart meet. So that's where vinyl versus paint is a big difference when it comes to the door jamb. So we painted the whole front chrome bumper on CO2. Well, what happens is when you're painting chrome is it typically is difficult to get adhesion. It's best to paint a paintable bumper, but we weren't in the position to do that, so we painted over chrome. Now what happens is you have adhesion problems, and when you get a rock chip, it'll pop a chunk of paint off. So what we're actually gonna do with that, and I wish we'd have done it back then, is right when you get it painted, once it's all cured and everything, you can actually go through and clear bra it. So now you can put clear vinyl over it. Or we could have in the first place just vinyled it white and never had to deal with paint and the adhesion issues. So that's an example where we're actually gonna use clear vinyl to go over the top and fix our rock chip issue that we're seeing. So we'll go through, clean it up, and then clear vinyl it. So that is our version of paint is dead. And we just wanted to kind of talk about vinyl. We've been using so much of it, we thought we could share what we've learned so far. Why don't you guys hit us up with any questions you have, and we will answer them, or come back with a part 2 if there's enough questions that warrants us going at it again. So you should see that we've made a video now on the plasti dip from back in the day when we dipped the Avalanche. And then we did a video recently on bed liner, because we've been doing a lot of Scorpion bed liner vehicles. We've done a couple of those, and we're really happy with them, super durable. And then this would be another option outside of paint, which would be vinyl wrap, which we've been doing quite a bit of lately. And we'll basically be able to do a durability test and let you guys know how it went. Right now, paint's not making me very happy. So I think paint is dead also against powder coat, because it just doesn't hold up, especially if you're gonna go on gravel roads and everything, blow rocks at it. So that is paint is dead, vinyl is the bomb. Peace! We all know that when you see a Lambo, you want to hear a Lambo. So we'll let it crack for you.